Hello and welcome to this week's episode of the How to Film Weddings podcast. My name is Nick Miller, and I am joined this week in person with my best good buddy, Mr. John. But I almost said John Miller, which is my dad's name.
We're not going to get married, dude.
No,
I told you.
But no.
There will never be a John Miller.
I mean, there is one.
Oh,
He's my dad.
That's true.
But it's not you.
But we are here in person.
We are here in person. John, how are you doing? What are you up to? What have we been up to?
Yeah, I could probably fall asleep if you gave me a 10-minute window of time to go fall asleep, because we've been doing a lot this week. As we're recording this, we are in Denver, Colorado.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
We are at Stanton Giles Films by Stanton. Has a Rome retreat workshop for anybody that has joined his course, which is a great idea. We've been hanging out with 20 wedding filmmakers from all over the planet. Mostly Americans, but a few from around the world, and doing some styled shoots. Went up in the mountains last night. Very hard to breathe. 11,000 feet.
Yeah, we saw moose. We saw meese.
We saw two moose.
Meese?
Moose.
We saw two
fish.
moose?
Yeah. It's like fish.
Oh, I like meese. It's
wife,
probably wrong.
My wife Heather likes saying meese, and it's wrong. Unless maybe you guys could fact check us. But we're in person. And we're here. Stanton's put on like an awesome event. Been hanging out with Boomer and Sarah for Multiply Media. Drew, the director, who is one of their office mates, does commercial work. Jimmy from Second Society. Us, we've been teaching, and about 2 hours ago, I gave a presentation on building an irresistible brand, and you gave a presentation you broke down one of your wedding films. We've been doing a lot of that, today's more education-y day, and so we're in person, and we're at our Airbnb, and we were just talking about the importance of not only you and me getting in the same room. Like, some of our best ideas have come just from you and me setting time aside to be at a workshop together, to go batch record episodes together. I remember we came up with the idea for Mastermind and really decided on it one winter whenever I came out to Wichita, and we were recording a bunch of episodes just in the same room. All of the things you enjoy about How to Film Weddings seem to have happened when you and I get in the same room. And as we were talking about like getting together with all these filmmakers, like, I'm tired physically, but emotionally I'm charged up, and I'm excited about my wedding film business. And there's just something to it about getting together in the same room. So we just wanted to kind of talk about our experience here this week, as well as like the importance in your brand of getting in the same room with not only other wedding filmmakers, but other professionals and things like that. Yeah,
definitely. I was talking to one of the attendees this afternoon, and she was like, currently we're in August. And she said, I went to a workshop in January. She was like, I got so excited. I got so pumped up for my brand and, my business and all the things that are going on with that. And then I, got home and this hit me, then that hit me. And she's like, now I'm feeling very excited. It's, if you ever, grow up going to church camp, it's very similar to that, in the regard of you go, you get inspired, you get pumped up, you want to change this, you want to change that, whatever. And some really cool things can, happen when you're in person, and you never know exactly where to lead and what it'll happen. As John and I were talking about this, I've shared this before on the podcast, but I went to the very first venture workshop that White and Reverie put on, and there I met Jay and Mac, whenever they were new in their business, and we connected, and with that connection that we had, and also Becca Neblock, that's right?
Neblock,
yeah. Okay. Also
Yes.
those connections that we had with each other, and we were all in kind of the same. We were wanting to go in the same direction in our businesses at the time, and so we were able to, refer each other and book each other businesses and connect with each other that way. And it's one of those things that you just never know what's going to happen. Like, you never know who you're going to meet and the connections that you would make. And I know, like, today you were talking with a girl that's an editor, and just like having long conversations about, editing and our outsourcing page and, all that. You don't know where things can happen. And we often don't get the opportunity for something like that to happen unless you are in a space where those things are kind of expected to happen, right? And so there's just a power, there's something cool that can happen when you get in the same room with people.
Yeah, and I like what you're saying about just like getting inspired by seeing other people being passionate about what they're doing, and just kind of our job is a little lonely, right? And you edit by yourself, or maybe you run your business with your spouse, or like maybe one or two other people, but really you need to get out of your current routine sometimes to get inspired. And that might not look, as I think about like getting in the same room with other people or getting inspired by other people, listening to this podcast, where you're listening to it, you care about, if you're listening to our voices, you care about your business, your shooting, your editing, you want to grow, you're wanting to learn. And like, we try to be that weekly dose of just inspiration, getting you thinking outside of the box, thinking about different, what you're learning each year obviously helps you to progress. And being here in person, seeing people as they're doing styled shoots or seeing how they do certain things, super great. I love that. And I want to talk about that more too. But I also like just hearing from other, like the guest speakers, whether that's when we have a guest on the podcast or like our Calibrate Workshop, which is coming up here in a couple of weeks, where you're stopping your routine to say, I'm going to stop doing my edits for today. I'm going to stop doing this stuff so that I can have people pour into me. And I think our cups get emptied and we just keep going and going as creatives. And then, the gas tank is empty and we're like, well, we have a deadline, so we're going to push through it. We push our family to the side, or we push our whatever to the side, so that we can, and there's this cycle, which I've seen now being with How to Film Weddings for the last 5 years and with my own business for 16 years, of seeing people burn out. And I've talked to a lot of people this week about burnout and about being overwhelmed. And one of my talk this week was about building irresistible demand in your business and creating, fans of your work, crazy, excited to book you fans. And that doesn't just happen. And if you're just in that cycle where you're booking too much because you need the money, and then you're working too hard because you've booked too much, and then you've overwhelmed yourself, but you've used all the money and you're not charging enough, all this stuff, there's just something about like taking a step back and saying, okay, I want to learn from these people. I want to do something different than just what is handed to me. I want to be more intentional. I want to take control of my life. I want to take control of my business. And maybe you're out there and you're watching or listening and you're like, man, John, you just read my mail. I'm not getting paid what I want to get paid. I'm not inspired. I'm not making work that invigorates my soul. I'm not working with couples that are so excited to work with me. I'm literally just another vendor to them. I feel vanilla. I don't feel like I'm like, if that's you out there and you're saying, I feel like I'm either going to quit or burn out, I would highly encourage you to get in the room. And definition of that might be get into the room at Calibrate, or get into the room at a workshop or a local meetup or something with other people that are heading in the direction that you want to go in. I talked a lot. What do you want to add to that?
Yeah, I know it. As you were saying, this can be a very, very lonely business. This can be something that, people just don't, it's hard to find a community a lot of times. And it's hard to find that whenever you're working by yourself. And you might, you're going to work with other vendors and stuff on a wedding day, but like to actually, have someone that has similar life experiences and talk to them and be inspired by them, or connect or challenge each other or whatever, we really recommend figuring something out so that you can have that. And you might be sitting there like, well, it's cool, but I can't go to something like this Rome workshop or, Venture or, any of these other in-person things. That's not something that I can do. I don't have the means to do that or whatever. So maybe what you need to do is do something in your own town. Maybe you're the catalyst for that. Maybe you're the one that's reaches out to the few other filmmakers and just say, hey, I want to get together. I'm feeling burnt out. I'm feeling lonely. I'm feeling whatever the answer may be. And chances are that there are other wedding filmmakers in your town, in your area, that are feeling the same way that you are. And you guys just need to connect and help each other out. And maybe you talk business, maybe you don't, whatever. But the idea is spending time with other people that have a shared life experience that you have in doing wedding filmmaking.
Yeah, I sit here and I think about, it took me I think 9 years in my business before I ever really started to build community with other like-minded pros. And there's just something about running into some of the people that we've run into at other workshops or people that are in our mastermind group. One of the points that I made today, I stole from Chris with Storybox, and that is to be the most known. He was talking to our mastermind group, and he said it on our podcast as being the most known from wedding planners, photographers, other vendors, whatever. That doesn't happen if you're not making the effort to build the network and you're not making the effort. One of the points I made too in my talk today was your wedding films themselves, unfortunately, are not going to sell you more weddings every time. You need a network. You need people in your corner. You need people that you can say, hey, I'm just about done with this edit. Can I send it your way and you give me feedback? Can we? And there's just something about it to where we talk to people all the time, even guest speakers. We just met Boomer in real life, Multiply Media Boomer, and just being in the room, seeing them, giving them a hug, spending time, just watching them be real life humans instead of two-dimensional ones and zeros on a screen. There's a level of trust that wasn't there that you just can't replicate without, really getting to know somebody in person. And so, for me, I leave something like this and I'm I just met 20 more people that I know a little bit about their story. I feel more connected to our community because sometimes with How to Film Weddings, there's tens of thousands of you out there listening, which is great. But met a guy, Kevin, this week that's been in our group forever, who's listened since the beginning, and just getting in the same room with Kevin and saying, oh, it's so good to meet you. It's so good to have a meal or whatever. It's I understand you better now. I can connect with you better now. You're more real life to me now. And there's something about getting in that room where Kevin is making connections with Chloe or whoever, other people that we've met, and they are becoming tighter friends. And it's what happens when Kevin is booked for that next wedding? Mm-hmm. Oh, he's pointing to that other person, or maybe Kevin needs a film review or whatever. It's oh, I've got people in my corner now. And there's just something about that. And I leave weeks like this, like you said, church camp, being inspired. And I think that it's natural as a human to kind of just get into a rut and to kind of get in your routine and you do your thing. You get up, you make your coffee, you do your gym, whatever you do. And kind of, I'm going to edit today. I'll do this. I'll piddle around, whatever. Just something about that energy of being together, virtually, yes. In person, yes. That can just really change the game for you. So if you've never been a part of an in-person thing, How to Film Weddings has many options to get together. We have our mastermind group, which has a retreat at the end of the year. Our friends, a lot of our friends have workshops. Jake Weisler at Runaway Vows just announced a luxury workshop. Emma Kay has workshops. All kinds of our friends have things. There's so many things now that you can go and be a part of. And yes, there's an investment. And yes, there's an investment in time. But I can't tell you enough the importance of what that actually means to say, I'm going to go stop what I'm doing. I'm going to get out of my routine. I'm going to change it up. And it could change the course of your career with any of those little things.
Yeah. You're talking about the power of people knowing your name and who you are and being known and stuff. And I think of someone like Chris Jesperson of Storybox, who it's I want to make it in the luxury space. I want to be on Harper's Bazaar list. I want to travel and do these incredible weddings. How do I do that? And he knew that he had to be in the same room as the people that could help him get there. And so if you haven't heard his story, we recommend checking out the podcast that he did with us and listening to what he had to say. But there is such a big power in just what we're saying, in like connecting with people, getting together, talking with them, communicating with them. And you never know the types of weddings that you are going to get. Like John, the people that are reaching out to him are, spending $10,000, $15,000, $20,000 for a wedding videographer and that stuff. But what happens whenever someone comes along and John's like, okay, it's 10,000, and they're like, oh, our budget's 7. Like, he's going to pass it on to the people that he has built relationships with people that he knows. He's not just going to willy-nilly, who wants this booking, in our big Facebook group, because he doesn't know the type of people they are. He doesn't know the type of work they do. He doesn't know how they are. Like, he doesn't know those things. But for someone he's built a relationship with, like me or Blake or, other filmmakers that we've spent time at things like this, at our mastermind retreats, that sort of thing, it can, you move ahead of the line, because remember, it's not just about what you know, it's who you know and who knows you. That's a line that we share that Elaine from KEJ shared with us. Okay. So again, what Elaine said is it's not about who you know, it's about who knows you. And we like to think that our work sells itself, which it has to be a certain quality and it needs to at some point. But who you know and who knows you is so much more important than so many of us give it credit for.
Are you looking for a better way to deliver your wedding films? Look no further. Our friends over at VidFlow provide the most flexible video delivery solution on the market. VidFlow is pay-per-use with no large upfront costs or commitment, and you can cancel at any time. VidFlow offers a premium viewing experience for all of your couples, accessible on mobile, tablet, desktop, as well as their very own suite of TV apps. Each project comes with 10 years of hosting and an experience for your couples that will blow them away. Head over to howtofilmweddings.com/vidflow, where you can save 20% off a yearly business membership by using promo code HTFW20. Stop delivering your films the old-fashioned way. Give your couples something to rave about by using VidFlow.
Alrighty then, we're back from break. Nick got a drink. He was getting choked up.
I'm parched, or I'm hydrated.
Yeah, so we're in Denver and it's dry, and I've been drinking lots of water, but I haven't lost my voice yet, which is good. What were you talking about right before break?
Well, I was talking about the power of who you know and who knows you, and yeah, that's what I was talking about.
Yeah.
What do you want to add?
Well, I just think as we're growing in our business, what you said just about skipping the line or whatever, if you think about human beings in general, imagine some random stranger, or you saw a billboard for a movie, right? It's oh, Oppenheimer, here's a billboard. Okay, cool. But if your friend calls you and says, you have to check this out, or hey, this movie's awesome, you're going to love it, or this restroom's awesome.
Restroom? You said restroom.
This restroom. You got to check out this restroom.
What?
This restroom is the best place to go.
What's going on in the restroom?
What I meant to say is the restaurant or restroom. Jeez.
Restroom. Oh, that's good.
Wow. Okay. John finally said something.
Finally. I am always the one. If you're a listener, I am always the one that says
my point.
Stupid stuff.
You do. And restroom works too. You got to check out this bathroom.
It's got a golden toilet.
This is where you want to use the restroom. Or a restaurant. But you will take the recommendation of somebody you know. And if you're making good relationships and friendships with the photographers that you want to work with, and they say, oh, you have to check out Wild Oak Films, they're the best. What are the odds that you're going to get a booking with that? Or if someone's booked and they're like whenever I refer out weddings, depending on when it is, I've referred weddings towards Nick and Nick towards me, when it's oh, you have to check out Nick Miller with Wild Oak Films because of X, Y, and Z. The likelihood of getting that booking goes way up. And I'll post different referrals in our mastermind group, which they've paid to be in the room. And it's like, I know that someone that's willing to invest into their business is somebody that I can trust sending more of a referral to a client. A lot of times someone will say, hey, I've got a $5,000 budget. I start out at 15 now. And so Nick's more expensive than 5, Blake's more expensive than that. So I'm like, I'm going to post this referral in the mastermind group. Hey, $5,000 thing. Here's where the location is. And then based on who responds to that, even weekly being on Zoom calls in our mastermind group, I know, that person will probably fit best with that bride. I'm going to refer them, or that person. Just being in that room just gives you so much more of a chance. And like you said earlier, maybe flying to Denver and whatever is just not feasible for you right now. You have to know kind of where you're at in your business, know where you're at with your family, with where, and maybe, and that's one of the reasons why we created Calibrate. It's $49 for a ticket, and we have 5 guest speakers, and we have a lot going on with it. It's on August 23rd if you're listening to this, and you're going to get inspired. You're going to be in a room and learn from people, and you're going to get inspired, and maybe that's a first step for you, or maybe joining some kind of networking group at your local WIPA chapter or wherever it is your next step. But I think for the most part, people aren't even thinking about this. They're not, like, especially 5-10 years ago, there was nothing really to go do. There was an In-Focus event. There was Weeva was a thing, but there's so many opportunities now. And you need to, if you're out there listening, like, earmark in your budget each year a few $1,000 to say, I'm going to go to a workshop this year. When one presents itself, I'm going to get on a wait list for that and I'm going to join it. Being able to be there is going to change your business, especially if it's a really good workshop. But you get what you put in. And I've seen so many people this week travel and get here, get in the room, be able to sit next to me or Stanton or Nick or whatever. I just had a conversation with Chris, a guy that's here in Denver, and he was able to, like, ask some questions of me, which I feel like hopefully the advice I gave him, with the 15 plus years of doing this, like, I gave him advice that I think will fast forward him 3 years if he just does it. And that's the kind of stuff that, like, those little pockets of time, little moments where you're just able to connect and pull somebody aside and get that access to somebody you look up to could change the game for you. Nick, back over to you. I said restroom. Don't forget to laugh at me.
I had forgot that you said restroom, and it just made me laugh again. I didn't.
Something felt off when I said it, but I just kept going, and I don't know why.
Oh man, I don't know why you did either. Anyway, but yes, this is one of those things that it can cost you at least time, if not money, to get into the room with other people. And it's not just necessarily, hearing this famous filmmaker or that famous filmmaker. Like, it's the relationships and the connections that you can build with people that are in a similar season of business with you. Like, the truth of it is, we are all more likely to refer people and connect with people, get them business if they are in a similar trajectory, similar place in business with us. I am probably not going to refer you if it's your second year in business for the weddings that I'm doing. It's not because I don't think you're a great person, but it's because you don't necessarily have the experience that we have. And like that's a natural thing. Like, we have shared this before in mentor sessions and stuff of people getting going. Don't reach out to the planner that's been doing it for 10 years and try to get on their list, right? Find a planner that's in a similar area of business, similar season of business that you are in, connect with them, and then grow with each other. So whenever you get in a room with these other filmmakers and you want to do, like, here we're in a destination elopement workshop that Stanton is putting on. Because it's destination and it's travel and it's like, you're kind of able to refer anyone anywhere and they can travel to it, because that's kind of the name of the game. So connecting with the people that are in, like, that similar season as you is a really big deal.
And I was going to add this. I think that what I've seen is the most successful people that I've seen, like, go from zero to hero, over a course of 3 or 4 years of time are the ones that are willing to take risks, big risks, but not necessarily like crazy risks. I remember, like, I'm trying to think of some of the people that like I know came out and like filmed Venture Workshop just to be there. Like Austin and Jessica did that, I know, once. Or like, I want to be in that room. I'm going to reach out to the owner of that workshop and say, hey, if I came and filmed it, would you get me, like, if you don't have the money, figure out a way to like get there anyway. Can I go film it in exchange for a ticket? Can I, do promo for whatever, but like make it happen and get like excited about how can I get in the room with some of these people, pay people for mentorships, invest that time, that energy, that money into getting in the room with the same people that you want to connect with. And like what you said, it's great that people can sit down and talk with us and all that, but you're right. I'm not sending a $15,000 referral to someone in their first or second year. I need to know that like, no, they're going to dominate this. Like they're going to be a great referral. And so those connections you'll make with other people are absolutely huge. Okay. So anything else you want to add before we kind of wrap up today? We wanted a shorter episode.
No, I don't think so. And again, I think we want to reiterate, workshops are great, but they are few in the year. Like there's only a handful of them. Mm-hmm. And so we highly recommend, if you need that community, obviously you can do it online, that's a way to do it, but there is something about getting together in person that you just can't have virtually. Mm-hmm. You can't have on Facebook. You can't have over Zoom. And so if you can set something up in your local market, hey, we're going to get together at this coffee shop. We're going to get together at this place for dinner and drinks, whatever, once a month, once a quarter, something just to connect with those people. That's going to be huge. So I'm going to wrap up this section. I really want to spend a couple of minutes just talking about Calibrate Workshop. Mm-hmm. That's coming up on August 23rd. It's just in a couple weeks as we launch this episode. And we're having... if you just buy the regular ticket, it's $49. We tried to make it super affordable so that everyone could be attending this year. You're going to hear from 5 speakers. We have Matt Johnson, Films by Stanton, LaRev Films, Level Up Co., Taylor and Kelly with Level Up Co., and the last one, Sam Jacobson. That's right. Sam Jacobson.
Our good friend Sam.
Our good friend. And so, they're all going to be talking about different... I know Sam's going to be talking about some business sales stuff because that is his lane. He knows it. Lindsay and Cherish from LaRev are going to be talking about being known, and in the networking. They're so good at that. Taylor and Kelly, I know we're talking about Instagram and social media and the power of connecting with planners and other people so that people can know you there. And then Matt,
he's talking about audio
stuff.
Yes, like how to build an audio kit for your wedding day.
That's great.
Like going into it, it's gonna be dope.
And Stanton, do you know what he's talking? I don't know what he's talking about.
Yes, he's going to talk about building like audacious goals and like kind of his story. And all of them are creating unique content for this.
Yes.
Which is super dope. And then, Nick, as a bonus, we have a VIP. I don't know if it makes you very important, but you're very important if you do it. But a VIP that's $99. It's $50 more. And it's going to include a bonus session with Brock Johnson, who is, we had him on the podcast a couple weeks ago. He's an Instagram growth expert. And not just to grow your following, but to get you in front of the right people. And so he's going to have a bonus session for there. And the way Calibrate works is if it's a live event, and you get to watch it live if you want. There's Q&A at the end of the speakers' talks. But you also get access to it for 24 hours with the basic ticket after the Calibrate's over. And so... you get 24-hour access so you can watch it. I know some of our Australian friends were DMing us on Instagram saying, it's 1 a.m. when you guys start. And it's like, we got you. You can watch it for up to 24 hours. The VIP gets 7 days access to it as well. So $99 for that, $49. We just wanted to make it, like you said, affordable.
And also with the VIP $99 option, we are including at no extra charge our 65 plus email templates that we have in our shop that retail for $95. So if you're interested in those templates, you might want to hop on this for $4 more. You get some amazing content. You'll get 6 speakers that you can listen to as many times as you want over a 7-day period. So Calibrate Workshop. If you would like to purchase tickets, head over to howtofilmweddings.com/calibrate. And there's more information there, and you can sign up. And we are going live in the morning on August the 23rd.
Yep. And, in wrapping up, I just want to say that, like, if you're out there, you're still listening, we appreciate you so much. We appreciate you being part of this community. I've been saying it at the end of almost every episode. If you're listening and you just want to reach out and say hello, hit us up on Instagram at How to Film Weddings. Send us a DM. We respond to all of them. We just want to connect as much as we can with you on a human level. As we've done this now for 5 years, there's nothing that gets us more excited than like meeting you, connecting with you, and seeing what it is that like you need to help yourself grow in your business. We're here for that. This is like our full-time thing now, which is so cool. We love seeing where the How to Film Weddings community is growing. And so send us a message. Be sure to check out Calibrate. Nick, it's awesome hanging out with you in Denver.
Yep.
That's all I have. So until next time, we'll see you.
See you guys.
If you are like most wedding filmmakers, you are constantly fighting against being completely overwhelmed from your backlog. We get it, and that is why we are so excited to bring you howtofilmweddings.com/outsourcing, a brand new place for you to find some of the best editors on the planet to help you get out from under the weight of your backlog. And the best part is we have personally vetted these companies to ensure that you aren't wasting your time finding editors. Whether you are looking for full-blown editors like Wedditor or brideandgroom.video, or if you're just needing someone to cull your films like Wedding Post House, we have a solution for you. So head over to howtofilmweddings.com/outsourcing to check out our curated list of outsourcing experts today. That's howtofilmweddings.com/outsourcing.